Yeah, tell me about it. That's some crummy music compliments of Power Director. I've had to import all my music. Unbelievable. Well, this is my creation. My creation. Not recreation. Well, it is recreation. Recreation, my creation. Anyway, this is a unique drone I've got on the front. It's tied to my tow bar, which I carry in flight because I do a lot of landings out in the bush or what passes for bush in Florida, and just makes things a lot easier. But there's the Q500 drone, and on the back I have another Q500 drone, and I'm learning how to fly them in formation now, more or less. And it'll be on a video. It might be in this video for YouTube. I'm just going to do a quick one. So there it is. I haven't flown it yet. I'm gonna brace it a lot better, of course. I've got the shoulder straps in between these two little crossbars up here at the front, and then also there's just a little strap here in the middle I got in there for you to pick it up with, but it makes a good little hanger. I'm keeping the camera on there. See, little camera, man, I hate taking that camera off. Taking it off is almost as dangerous, is almost as bad as keeping it on there. So anyway, I'll get some video of it from this side camera over here. I had to edit the heck out of this. I couldn't think of the name GoPro, but it's not a GoPro. It's called a DB Power. I get them off of Amazon. They're pretty cheap, and they do, I'd say, just as good as GoPro. Just as good as a GoPro, and it costs about $300 less. In fact, Amazon had one. It was priced by mistake at $15.99. I bought two of them. Amazon. And they tried to talk themselves out. They tried to talk me out of it too, but I stuck to my guns. I said, "Hey, y'all advertised it wrong. That's your fault." And they gave me two of them for about $32. That was cool. They got plenty of money. I don't think they're going to go broke because of it. But anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about my ultralight here, just in case. These tires I've had on here for 20 years. They're big, thick tires. You can see by the size of my boot how big they are. But they'll land me anywhere. I've landed on soft sand, mud, just about everything you can think of. I've got this is a side pouch, of course, and I've got all kind of stuff in here. I got a tool kit. That's my tool kit. Flashlight, water at the bottom. I carry a 2-day supply of food. I got bug spray. This is a plastic cover I lay on the ground for when I'm putting the drones together, so they won't get all mucky. This is the only instrumentation it's got. I put a fuel pump on it just as a safety factor. It's got a mechanical pump, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's got RPM, exhaust gas temperature, and cylinder head temperature, and that's it. No brakes, no airspeed, no nothing. It does have electric start right here. It does have electric, so I'm kind of fancy. It's got a cruise control from a bicycle. It carries 2 people, believe it or not. The pilot sits here, and he puts his feet up here, and the co-pilot sits on the upper deck, which right now is in the place of a case, but he or she sits up here, puts their feet down here, and they do have access to a throttle, and I got a throttle in front. This other thing here, this is connected. This is a quick release for a banner towing mechanism at the back, which I don't have connected right now, but it does work well. That used to be a brake, and it broke but the thing lands fairly slow, so I just left it off. These foot pegs are for the rider in the back. By the way, he can also fly from the back too if they wanted to. But you got a foot peg here and a foot peg over there. It's a 52 horsepower Rotax 2-cycle made in Austria. And it's a very good motor, which they no longer produce. It seems like whenever somebody has a success at something, they always stop making it. Actually, I think what's happening is that they've gone after the bigger money with the 2-cycle engines, the 912s, 914s. They're up around 22, anywhere from $22,000 to $40,000, I think, some ridiculous price. This is the fuel tank. It holds 12 gallons. It burns about 2.5 an hour. So you got a hell of a range if you fill it all the way up, which I rarely do. The battery's on the bottom. I got electric start. This is the, this is the, what do you call it, mechanical, god dang it. It's run by air pressure. I can't think of the name right now. But that's the fuel pump. But like I said, up front, I added to it with a pump, and that pump is right here. Electrical pump, I'm sorry. As a backup, dual carbs, 4 spark plugs, a gearbox. It has a clutch on it too. The inside of here is a clutch, and you can actually crank the engine up and it'll sit still, so it'll idle real slow and real smooth. And here's my other camera here. That's another dB power on the Stinger right there. I've had this for 20-something years. I think I bought it in 98, whatever that comes out to. 98, 2008, 2000, okay, 20 years. I thought I had it over 20 years, but I don't. These are the big slicks again. These things are wonderful. Same tires for 20 years. They have not failed me yet. And what else? It's a big wing. It's a big, I forgot the meter size, the square meter size of it, but it's a huge wing. I've taken off with a little over 600 pounds. It's amazing. It's made in Australia, called a Wizard Wing. And the trike actually was made in Florida, in a place called, I forgot that too, but don't worry about it. It's no big deal. He's no longer in production, but it's been a good little machine. And I hope you enjoyed the tour and the idea. And you can see this thing flopping. I'm going to make sure I got it tied down good. Okay, I got a little horn here. I got a little horn. I got a mirror here, so the birds, because I'm so slow, they tend to pass me sometime, and I got a mirror so I can get out of their way and see who's coming. You think I'm kidding. I'm only half kidding there, but that's my mirror, and there's my horn. Okay, that's it. That's a complete tour. After all that jabbering, we're finally headed out. You can see I've got the drone and the unique harness, the unique backpack securely fastened with a lot of unnecessary rope and a couple of bungees. That's going to be different on the way back now. You're not going to have half that. But this actually is my first flight with it on the front like that. It's not going anywhere, but you just like to be a little... I got my thumbs up so you can see I'm happy. It ain't going nowhere. No kidding. But that's our beautiful area where I live. I'm in North Florida, a place called Ultralight Bay. That's our bay out there and our beautiful bridge. We're headed east, actually, to a little strip about 3 miles away. It takes about 5 minutes to get there. It's not quite as slow as a bird. It cruises right now at 45 miles an hour. And when you're flying one of these, you're not in a hurry anyway. We're going to land right down there at that little island, little inland sand island. These were Confederate salt works in the Civil War, but that's a whole nother story. I'm coming in on final right now. And what you got to be careful. Well, I didn't know I was going to be presented with the fact that I had an obstacle in front of my face, but it was no big deal. I just picked around it. But what you got to be careful of when you're coming in places like this is cypress stumps. And actually old cypress stumps that are just barely sticking out of the ground. And they can puncture a tire. So far I've been real lucky. But I'm headed out, and I just put my ground sheet down for the drones coming back to. This will take a series of about a half an hour to get this thing untied. I really overdid it. Whenever I do something for the first time, I always overdo the safety factor. It would have been impossible for it to come off, even if I just hooked it around those two little things at the top of the bar. I made it okay. Got in over here. Got in over here at my little airstrip, about 3 miles west of the main, our little main, I call it the grassy rectangle. I got everything ready to go, and guess what? I still forgot the batteries. I got to go back over here and get the batteries. I'm pretty forgetful the older I've gotten. But we'll get the batteries. Yeah, really. Ah, boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I see, I think they're over here. Yeah. You can see my tow bar there. Got set up pretty quick. That was one good thing about it. Had a nice landing. I wish I could have recorded it, but it didn't record, so that's wonderful too. See, actually, I did know it. It did record. We're going to try and get some low level. That's the purpose of this trip. We're going to try and get some low level. That mount worked great. I just need to get something more permanent. I'll tying all them ropes to it. It's a pain in the butt. But we're going to go back over here and shove a couple of batteries up their butts and see if we can get something going before the sun sets. This is January the 7th. Look at Stephanie for a minute while I tell you something. I'm using Power Director. I hate it and I like it. I hate their music. They give you free music, but it's terrible. I have to import everything. But you may have heard those audio feedbacks. That's what happens when I do audio dubs over and over, audio inserts, and I get that feedback off. It could be because of my computer too. No, it's not my computer. It's because the system keeps those audio files on there, the old audio files, and they tend to run over each other. So the good part in that explanation was that you got to see 2 extra pictures of Carley, which you've already seen. I got more, but I didn't feel like going to get them. That was a great shot. Now, it's not in a turn. It's actually counteracting a crosswind from the north, and that'll make you a good, what do they call it when you put it on your computer screen? Yeah. Boy, this was close. I got one even closer than that. I think I'll put it in here. How'd she get in there? Oh, got to turn the volume down. That's my first flight, my first drone-to-drone flight. Of course, it's been edited. You didn't see all the screw-ups. But, yeah, that's my first one. Well, I should say, my first series. But not so bad, but believe me, it got a lot worse. It got a lot worse. Yeah, pretty neat. That's my other little ultralight back there. It's called a Max Air Drifter. I love it. Here I'm practicing hovering. Well, actually, the drone in front is not moving. It's holding a stationary GPS signal. It's actually staying in one place. The movement you see is actually from the drone that's taking the video. And the reason it's leaning is because we have a wind out of the north. This is January the 7th. We have a wind out of the north, and it's actually holding a correction angle into the wind. Some people think it's in the process of turning, but it's not. Now, if you look at the gimbal on the bottom, what I'm referring to is that copper-looking horizontal gold band. That band is horizontal with the horizon. It keeps the horizon level. You can tell by the picture itself from the other drone that horizon is dead even. It's fantastic what they do with these things. I've learned a lot, except how to follow another drone and trail. But you can see the lean there as it counteracts that wind from the north. It's amazing. It was really blowing this day. It was cold and windy. But that was a neat shot. coming up from the bottom and sitting there right in the blue sky. You can put this stuff, you can weave it together in post, in editing on your computer. You can make what looks like choppy scenes seem like one smooth flow. There's kind of a neat shot that didn't really work out, as you can see. Now I'm backing up and I tried to follow it, but too late. So we're headed over into the sun. You can see that it's still leaning into that wind, even though it's getting kind of late in the day. There's a beautiful shot there with the sun. It's going to back up and back into the sun and then leave the sun, which would make a good opening or possibly uneven. All right, there we go. That's nice. See, but for some reason, I stopped the drone that you see. And I should have kept it going all the way out of the frame. But like I said, in editing, you can edit this stuff together to make it look like one seamless, almost, you know what I'm talking about, a seamless scene. I did it for you. This was done real quick. It's going to start here in a second as it comes out of the sun. I'll let you know. It'll be preceded by a transition, but it was done quick. It doesn't look that good, but it gives you an idea what I'm talking about. Here we go. If you notice the jump at the transition, that was because the altitudes above the horizon between the first and second scene were different. This was a day or two later. Fog had set in. Here I'm practicing leaving again. This is close. That is extremely close. From my perspective on the ground, I thought we had collided. I thought I was done for. And this is even close. That's probably 3, maybe 4 feet away. When you're in close proximity to another drone and that drone is downwind of you, you will get wake turbulence, as you may have seen right here. Right here, you'll see it. The wind was out of the south today. We're back here, but and I wish we hadn't got here so quick because I'm not ready yet. But yeah, take a break. I want to tell you something about my models. This girl, Carley. She was something else, what you call a natural model. No training whatsoever. She could hit a pose. She could hit a pose faster than you could hit the camera shutter. Just, when you come across a girl like this, you got to hang on to her because they save you one heck of a lot of trouble. Some girls, you got to tell them everything. One thing I wanted to point out was wake turbulence. When you're flying close, you got to watch out for wake turbulence from one drone to another. It could cause you to crash. Okay, I've got the white one in front again, and I'm approaching it with the gray one. The white one is stationary. Now the object is to get close, very close. If you're not close, it ain't gonna look good. See, here I'm practicing, it's taking off and I'm trying to follow it, and I let it get too far away. So I'm going to back it up here in a second. Now this may look okay on a widescreen TV. I don't know because I haven't put it on YouTube yet. You'll see it on YouTube. But here we go again. I'm practicing again, and again, I take off too slow behind it. The gray drone that's doing the filming is actually a little bit slower than the white drone. So what I've learned to do, as you'll see in a minute, is to actually take off in the gray drone, the camera drone first, which is kind of unnerving too because you're already close. What I would recommend if you're going to do this is to have the drone fly horizontally across your line of sight. That way you know exactly how far away they are. The only problem with that is that you're going to have a hard time looking into your monitor to see if you're lined up on the lead drone. This is something I just popped in here. It's a view of my white drone from my camera drone. It looks like 4 mushrooms or something like that in close formation. Just an unusual. But yeah, it's risky stuff, so be careful if you try it. I don't recommend it. We're almost to the end, so hang in there. You can see I'm way behind here. I came in too fast, had to flare. And I You can tell I got a lot of practicing to do here. Here's another one where I came back too fast on the camera drone. There we go. All right, but I'm still not taking off before the target drone. It takes a lot of work, but I have learned not to over control. You can see this was a pretty straight on shot, so that's good. That part of it is. And we're going upstairs. We're gonna got about 2 minutes left. That's out over the what we call the Appalachian Bay, and I'm just trying to do something. I think I was trying to get real close to it again, but for some reason just didn't work out. It's up there at the top left now. But you can see when it's far away, to me, it just doesn't look good. It's a lot safer. You may save a drone, but it just doesn't look that great. Even though you got a spectacular background, you know, the little bay inlet there. But yeah, I cut it out. This you can see the lights on it are blinking like mad. It's saying it's low on batteries, and I think the low lights come on way early. You get the buzz on your receiver, you know, you're familiar with that, and I think they come on way early. I think you can go a lot further, like about 5 minutes more. If you notice where I did the filming with this, it's in marsh grass. It's about 4 to 5 feet tall, and I did that for a reason, because if I do mess up, at least they'll land in something soft. They may be mangled beyond belief, but at least they'll land in something soft. So I'm almost to the end here, and sun's setting. I need to get back, and it's coming in. I'm getting the last one in right now. But anyway, that's about. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna stay at it, and I'm gonna stay at it, and I'm either gonna learn it, how to do it, or I'm going to crash. And I think, in all possibility, I'll crash. But I hope it ain't too bad. But this is flying low. I think this is the gray one, because it's slower. You can see how slow it's going. But I just did it for the heck of it. I like flying low, as probably a lot of you do, right over the open spaces and all the way out into the water. I was going to fly it all the way out to that channel buoy, that channel marker right there, but I decided not to. They had some guys out there duck hunting nearby, and I didn't want them to shoot at my drone, so I backed it up before they saw it. Now you may wonder why I put the girls in it. That comes from 1968, Fort Ord, California. My drill instructor, was giving us a briefing on a boring subject, and he had an easel with these big paper flip over pages, and every once in a while he would flip one over, and that would be a pretty picture of a girl in a bikini or whatever. And he kept on, and he kept flipping the pages, and lo and behold, here comes another one. So he was using that as an object to get our attention, to keep our attention focused on what he was trying to tell us. And I've used that ever since. And if any of you don't like it, well, here's some crummy Power Director music for you to see you off. You guys have a good day.